A lot of NC scenes were cut in episode 9 due to Chinese censorship. We saw the intention, the tension, the hints of what happened, but the juiciest, most intense moments were left out. Even with that, the story still gave us enough to feel the heartbreak, the confusion, and the undeniable pull between Shen Wenlang and Gao Tu. The banquet that night was held at X Holdings Hotel, owned by Hua Yong. But that didn't stop Shen Wenlang from attending with full composure. He wasn't drunk. He was precise, aware, always the perfect alpha that everyone admired. But that night, fate played a strange game. Gao Tu, his secretary, the man who had loved him quietly for over 10 years, was there too. Gao Tu had disguised himself as a beta all these years, knowing Shen Wenlang despised omegas. He had stayed by Wenlang's side, quietly supporting him, even knowing he could never be loved in return. The twist of fate came from compatibility. In the ABO world, when an omega goes into heat and comes across an alpha with more than 80% compatibility, the alpha can lose control completely. That is exactly what happened with Gao Tu and Shen Wenlang. Gao Tu's heat scent overwhelmed Wenlang without him even realizing it. The alpha's mind was blank, his instincts dulled, as if he were in a trance. Gao Tu, in heat, didn't need to force anything. His body, his scent, his instinct did everything. That's how Shen Wenlang ended up sleeping with Gao Tu, without knowing it was him. For Gao Tu, it was terrifying and yet inevitable. He had been in love with Shen Wenlang for more than a decade. Every day, every small interaction, every careful smile had been a memory to cherish, a dream he never thought could come true. And suddenly, in a haze of heat and instinct, his dream collided with reality. The man he loved, unconscious in his desire and unknowing of who he was touching, became part of him in a way Gao Tu had never imagined. By morning, he realized he was pregnant. The pregnancy was risky, even dangerous. Omegas need the presence of their mates during pregnancy, pheromones and closeness to help sustain life. Gao Tu had run, hiding from Shen Wenlang, trying to protect both himself and the unborn child. Doctors warned him repeatedly that the pregnancy could be fatal. Some even advised termination to save his life. But Gao Tu refused. Every moment, every heartbeat reminded him that the child was proof of the love he had held secretly for so long. He would survive for the child, no matter the cost. Days passed, and the tension between them grew, even at a distance. Gao Tu feared Wenlang's reaction. He knew that if Shen Wenlang found out he had been carrying his child, he might do something reckless. That fear weighed heavily on him. Yet even while hiding, his heart longed for Wenlang. He missed him constantly, remembered every glance, every moment they had shared, and silently whispered his name when alone. The love that had stayed quiet for 10 years was now burning inside him, desperate, undeniable. Meanwhile, Shen Wenlang noticed Gao Tu's absence immediately. The desk that had always been orderly now sat empty. Reports went unfinished. The calm presence he had relied on was gone. He searched for explanations, but none satisfied the empty ache inside him. Little did he know, the omega he had unknowingly slept with, the man whose scent had captivated him without his knowledge, was carrying his child. The irony was cruel. The man he despised as a beta, the man he had overlooked, had become the center of his world in a way he could not yet comprehend. The tension escalated in ways neither could control. Gao Tu struggled with pain, fear, and longing, while Shen Wenlang wrestled with confusion and desire. Both were caught in a storm of emotions, unspoken love, and the undeniable pull of fate. Every thought of Wenlang sent a shiver through Gao Tu. every moment without Gao Tu left Wenlang restless and longing. The child inside Gao Tu became a symbol of their bond, a secret that carried both hope and risk, shaping the story in ways neither could ignore. Even with the censorship and missing NC scenes, the emotions were clear. Gao Tu's devotion, the dangerous pregnancy, and Wenlang's unknowing involvement created a heartbreaking tension. Their connection was deep, complicated, and undeniable. Every glance, every memory, every unspoken word was charged with meaning. The story wasn't just about a single night. It was about a bond forged in secrecy, tested by fate, and complicated by life-threatening circumstances. But what makes this episode even more heartbreaking isn't just the physical act, it's the aftermath. Gao Tu, despite being swept away by Wenlang's pheromones and the uncontrollable pull of that 80% plus compatibility, wakes up to the crushing weight of guilt. He's torn apart inside. On one hand, he knows he had no control, that the laws of nature and biology forced him into it. But on the other, his heart refuses to let him off that easily. Gao Tu values Wenlang deeply, and the thought that he might have crossed a line without Wenlang's full awareness gnaws at his conscience like fire. Every time he looks at Wenlang, flashes of that night replay in his head, not with passion, but with torment. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Not with confusion, not with blurred memories. He's left wondering, was it fate that bound them together, or just cruel biology? Meanwhile, Wenlang is equally lost in his own storm. The morning after, he feels an emptiness that words can't describe. He isn't sure if what happened was real, or just fragments of a dream. His body remembers touches and warmth, but his mind struggles to connect the dots. Why Gao Tu? Why him of all people? And why does his heart race every time their eyes meet? Even though he's trying to convince himself it was all just a mistake, Wenlang doesn't realize the depth of their compatibility yet. He only knows that being near Gao Tu stirs something uncontrollable inside of him, and it terrifies him. Was Gao Tu simply another alpha responding to his scent? Or was there something more destined in that connection? This dual conflict, Gao Tu drowning in guilt and Wenlang trapped in confusion, creates one of the most emotionally charged turning points of the series. It's no longer just about an omega in heat and an alpha pulled by instinct. It's about two souls tangled in a bond neither fully understands, yet neither can escape.